Welcome to the NEO program of DILG-LGA, which aims to inform and empower newly elected officers. My short talk is intended to provide you with valuable insights on how the national government is promoting more effective local economic development. The Philippine economy registered an approximate 6.6% GDP growth rate in 2012, a performance considered as a boom by economic managers and rated as the fastest among the ASEAN 10 economies. The Joint Foreign Chambers of the Philippines, in its second anniversary monitoring report early this year, said that while this macroeconomic performance is seen as encouraging, the country still has a long way to go in achieving inclusive economic growth. Unemployment remains high at 6.8%, and underemployment is even higher at over 18%, and the incidence of poverty remains 25%. We in the local government have been given the responsibility and autonomy in promoting development and well-being of its citizens and inhabitants, especially local economic development. To do so, LGUs must take manifold actions, including promotion of economic growth and create jobs and livelihood and generate income for its people. This requires LGUs to attract businessmen, tourists, entrepreneurs and investors into their communities and spur economic growth. The national thrust on economic development gives responsibility on local governments to be self-propelling economies that could compete in the global marketplace. Our local governments have political power to optimize use of natural and human resources to create wealth for the constituents. In this regard, LGUs must entice the private sector, locally and beyond its borders, to invest in production of goods and services that would spur a cycle of productivity and wealth creation. For this to happen, LGUs must compete with other LGUs in the Philippines as well as with other places and communities around the world that are equally motivated to attract investors. To achieve the country's goal of inclusive growth, significant employment generation in the private sector will be required. Employment generation requires higher levels of investment, which can be encouraged through ongoing improvements to the business climate, streamlining of regulatory processes, and easing of cost of doing business. The need to compete for investments and businesses has become as stiff and urgent in the light of rapid technological change, global and regional competition. Investment is now needed in many places in the country. LGUs are competing for a narrowing pool of investment pesos. Places compete for billions in investment, job creation, and a move to a value-added manufacturing and services. New technologies and changing market circumstances have led to business relocations. This is how some small towns and cities have lost major industries or business, leading to high unemployment, closure of businesses, abandoned properties, and expanding informal settlement areas. Massive movements of businesses could leave a weak tax base from which LGUs derive funds to fund public services. To cite examples, some towns in Bulacan and Rizal have lost their garment and embroidery industries. Low and medium and rattan furniture producers in the towns of Pampanga have lost out to China and Indonesia. To achieve the country's goal of inclusive growth, significant employment generation in the private sector will be required. Employment generation requires higher level of investment, which can be encouraged through ongoing improvements to the business climate, streamlining of regulatory processes, and easing the cost of doing business. Continuation of the current initiatives to improve international competitiveness rankings by tackling corruption, strengthening economic governance, and investing in strategic infrastructure will be required. The Philippine Development Plan, or the PDP, for 2011-2016, entitled In Pursuit of Inclusive Growth, is anchored on a social contract and aims to pursue rapid and sustainable economic growth and development, improve the quality of life of the Filipino, empower the poor and the marginalized, and enhance our social cohesion as a nation. The PDP's 5 objectives are: A. Boost competitiveness in the productive sectors to generate massive employment. B. Improve access to financing to address the evolving needs of a diverse public. C. Invest massively in infrastructure. D. Promote transparent and responsive governance. And E. Develop human resources. In DILG, the department is focusing its efforts in building more business-friendly and competitive local governments as part of its mandate to ensure accountable, transparent, participative, and effective local governance. The Department of the Interior and Local Government has one of its outcome areas to create business-friendly and competitive LGUs. To help LGUs pursue their economic transformation, DILG has developed a roadmap for business-friendly and competitive LGUs to 2016, which reiterates the national government's declaration that a clear way to achieve the robust and long-term growth needed to attract investments, generate jobs, and reduce poverty is through the creation of a business-friendly environment. Local communities need to work together with the different partners to harness local resources for sustainable economic growth. It requires LGUs to collaborate with local stakeholders such as national government agencies, the private sector, civil society organizations, and other development partners to support and strengthen the enabling environment for business development, retention, and expansion as a means to promote equitable and balanced local economic growth. The goal of the LED programs is to foster efficient, responsive, transparent, and accountable governance at all levels. Its purpose is to reduce poverty by strengthening local governance and supporting sustainable local economic development. To learn more about LED, I am inviting you to join the training program that DILG offers to newly elected officials. DILG has developed a curriculum on local economic development for local government units, LED for LGUs, a course curriculum to help enhance the country's quest for more business-friendly and competitive LGUs. The curriculum seeks to enhance LGU capacities in carrying out this enabling role for LED and in pursuing economic development initiatives that create jobs and promote poor growth. As LGUs are becoming increasingly aware of the importance of their role in promoting local economic development, there is also a growing need to enhance their capacities for LED. We join other organizations in both government and the private sector that provide capacity building assistance to LGUs to use the curriculum in their programs. We hope to see you in this year's NEO program training for LED.